Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Still a lot of rain off to our south, but that is the bullseye that's headed here for much of the second half of the week. Find out how much snow we are still expecting.
The state of our union is stronger than ever before.
President Trump delivering his third State of the Union address on the eve of his Senate impeachment vote, with Governor Whitmer firing back from East Lansing with the Democratic response.
We'll get to that in just a moment, but first we begin with Mark Dantonio addressing his sudden retirement as head football coach of Michigan State University. Nobody saw it coming, and now the Spartans are looking for a successor to their all-time winningest football coach.
Start things off tonight with Bernie. Made the announcement earlier today on Twitter, but we actually got to hear from him about 6:30 this evening.
He did, yes, and his 13-year run as head football coach at Spartans ended this afternoon. Mark Dantonio announced he was retiring as head football coach. Dantonio simply out of gas and thought it was best to say goodbye. We've got highlights, and according to a source we spoke with this afternoon and who's close to the program, he's leaving for several other reasons. The lawsuit he's named in for violating NCAA rules. Also, he's not happy at being told to redo his coaching staff. And honestly, they say it just simply wasn't fun for him anymore. And Dantonio made that rather clear tonight.
The things that come across your desk, the overwhelming responsibility for people day in and day out, just feels sometimes like an avalanche, that you're always surfing that wave. And I just felt like at points in time throughout the season, you're just like, what else? What else? What else is there?
Well, that's Mark Dantonio. He also got a $4.3 million bonus from Michigan State last month, so timing is everything. Several broadcast reports say that Luke Fickell of Cincinnati is going to be Dantonio's replacement, but no deal is in place yet. He's the former head coach of Ohio State, one season in 2011. In time, Spartan Nation will take Fickell in, but tonight in East Lansing, it's all about the loss of Mark Dantonio. Priya Mann has more from Michigan State.
Fans found out in class, online, some here at the Breslin Center. Many were shocked that Coach Dantonio was stepping down. Others simply wished him well. And everyone was optimistic about the future of football here in East Lansing.
Go green, go white. So I know we're still going to win, but we are going to miss our coach.
A stunning tweet Tuesday afternoon made it official. The era of Coach Mark Dantonio at Michigan State is over.
I was sitting in class when I saw the tweet go out, but I was kind of surprised because I think if he was going to do it, it would have came out earlier.
After 13 years, Dantonio ends his career as the most successful MSU coach in the last half century.
I think that he was 100% committed to last year and wanted to follow through with the season. And, you know, he deserves a month to decide what's best for him and what's best for the next direction.
The decision came a few weeks after he collected a $4.3 million bonus and less than 24 hours before signing day.
I talked to every one of our incoming rookies or recruits today, and it's tough talking to them. I think they all understand. I think they're all grateful for the opportunity to come to Michigan State.
Dantonio is stepping down just one day after being sued by former staffer Curtis Blackwell. Blackwell is suing for wrongful termination, accusing Dantonio of multiple NCAA violations.
This lawsuit's, to me, ridiculous. Unfortunately, I hope these kids that have signed just, continue to come here.
He built MSU into a Big Ten powerhouse and left his legacy in East Lansing on his own terms.
I think he made a new beginning at the time he came. He brought our program from down low to another level, and I just think it was good for the university at that time. But now it's just time for a different person to come in and do the job.
Reporting from the Breslin Center, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
And tomorrow's National Signing Day, so it'll be interesting to see.
Really, you mentioned
how many
the timing
drop off.
of all this. That's really a wild part of this.
All right. We'll talk to you a little bit later, Bernie. Thank you. Well, we started the week with temperatures in the 50s, but this time tomorrow night we will be dealing with snow.
Let's check in with Ben here. We're still expecting what you were telling us earlier over these next 3 days now, Ben?
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much change in that forecast at all, Kim and Devin. In fact, that system that was just a little spit of snow at 6 o'clock is really started to balloon there in the Lone Star State, and then that will eventually start knocking on our door in about 24 hours or so. Late tomorrow evening, we'll start seeing that snow develop, and once it gets here, It's going to be here for the span of off and on almost 40 hours. First shot, again, comes tomorrow night into Thursday morning. We get another shot as we get into Thursday afternoon and evening. And then the final blow shows up on Friday morning and finally wraps up at about noon on Friday. 5 of the next 6 commutes are going to be impacted by weather starting as soon as possibly tomorrow evening, and it will be over 6 inches of snow in spots. We'll run down the totals for you and find out what's to come beyond that in a few minutes, guys.
Right, Ben. Fascinating night in the nation's capital. The evening started with the State of the Union, with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and President Trump not shaking hands. The hour and 25-minute speech also included controversial talk radio host Rush Limbaugh receiving the Medal of Honor during the speech, and a service member surprising his wife and family. And a rather interesting moment then at the very end. Alice Barr following it all in Washington with the latest. Alice.
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
President Trump stepping into history as just the second American president to deliver a State of the Union address to Congress while under the cloud of an impeachment trial. The president and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi barely made eye contact and did not shake hands. He's all but certain to be acquitted in a final vote tomorrow, and tonight he's looking past impeachment.
The state of our union is stronger than ever before.
The president pointing to job growth and a booming stock market as cornerstones of a strong economy, highlighting a new trade deal with China and a campaign promise delivered to renegotiate NAFTA.
But unlike so many who came before me, I keep my promises. We did our job.
On foreign policy, President Trump saying that directing the killings of the leader of ISIS and a top Iranian general have made the world safer.
Our message to the terrorists is clear. You will never escape American justice.
Also touting his record on immigration.
A long, tall, and very powerful wall is being built.
And taking a swipe at the Democratic candidates he'll face in his re-election bid.
We will never let socialism destroy American health care.
The president saluted the family of a soldier serving in Afghanistan and in a dramatic reveal brought him out to reunite with his wife and kids, also interrupting the speech to award the Presidential Medal of Freedom to conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh, just diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, a polarizing moment in a visibly divided room that at times took on the feel of a campaign rally for Republicans and a protest for Democrats. The address that started with the president and Speaker Pelosi not shaking hands ended with the speaker tearing up his speech. From the Capitol, Alice Barr, Local 4.
I said it was quite a night.
Indeed it was, and Governor Whitmer was chosen to give the Democratic response to the president's State of the Union address.
Our Mara McDonald in the newsroom. Mara, of course, Michigan being fought over by both parties, so vital in this election cycle, and the choice of Governor Whitmer highlights the battle, right?
Well, Devin, it sure does. And Whitmer, who is from East Lansing, chose to give her response at East Lansing High School tonight in front of an audience of high-profile Democrats and students who were thrilled she's been given the opportunity to give the response. Now, the governor had said earlier she wasn't going to address the president's address point by point, but rather highlight key issues.
It doesn't matter what the president says about the stock market. What matters is that millions of people struggle to get by, or don't have enough money at the end of the month after paying for transportation, student loans, or prescription drugs. American workers are hurting. In my own state, our neighbors in Wisconsin and Ohio, Pennsylvania, and all over the country. Wages have stagnated while CEO pay has skyrocketed. So when the president says the economy is strong, my question is, strong for whom?
Back here live in the newsroom, if you listened to Governor Whitmer's State of the State address last week, you will notice that she picked some of the topics in that speech. For example, talking about a young boy who took it upon his own initiative to fill potholes, added that to this speech and then expanded on it, talking about Democratic governors across the country and exactly what they were doing. Devin.
Big moment in the spotlight for Governor Whitmer tonight. Now, meanwhile, the president's address comes just hours before the Senate is going to hold its final vote on the impeachment trial. All but certain to be acquitted tomorrow, with swing vote Republican Senator Susan Collins saying today she will vote to acquit the president. Here at home, Michigan Democrats, Senators Gary Peters and Debbie Stabenow say they will vote to convict the president. The vote expected at 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. You'll watch it right here live on Local 4, and we'll stream it on clickondetroit.com.
More than 24 hours after it ended, and we still do not know who won the first Democratic primary of the 2020 campaign. A technical glitch is being blamed for the failure in Iowa, causing a lengthy delay in reporting the results. Here's where we stand tonight with results from 62% of the state's 99 counties. Pete Buttigieg and Senator Bernie Sanders at the front of the pack, followed by Senator Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden. But again, that could change once all the votes are eventually counted. According to the Iowa Democratic Party, the app that was supposed to transmit results didn't perform properly, forcing them to count votes by hand.
Apparently it was not an app for that.
Yeah, right. Well, it was one of the country's biggest retailers until online shopping started dipping into its sales.
And new tonight, Macy's announces a major shakeup for its future. We'll have a look at how it could impact its stores here in Metro Detroit coming up.
Seeing the whole black bottom of the bus.
A mom watches as a school bus flips onto its side with her daughter on board. What caused the driver to lose control?
But first, nearly 24 dogs rescued from a suspected dogfighting ring. What else police found inside the Detroit home? Some of it rather incriminating next.
She's a heart survivor, and she has the scars to prove it. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Tomorrow at 6 a.m., this local mom's inspiring message to anyone who's battled health problems.
Defender Karen Drew is committed to defending the environment, uncovering the stories, fighting for change. Now, her investigation into Detroit River contamination concerns has zeroed in on one company with multiple violations.
Dock collapses, contaminated soil gets in the river. How in the world does that happen? That the blight tickets are issued right when we started reporting on the story. Coincidence? You've got somebody who owes $62,000 and nobody knows.
Certainly, we take a share of responsibility.
Local 4 and Click on Detroit.